Good morning. Thank you very much for being here. I'm Kimberly Collins. I am the Executive Director of the Leonard Transportation Center and your host for today. We have Scott Strzelecki from Southern California Association of Government. We have Bruce D.D. McRae, who's over at UPS, and Salim Youssef Zalev from Watt EV.
My name is Scott Strzelecki. I'm the program manager of the Goods Movement Business Unit at the Southern California Association of Governments, or SCAG. So for today, I'll be providing a brief review of SCAG's role in the region, including how we view last mile delivery. I'll also walk through some macroeconomic considerations to try to just, get a sense of where things are in the relationship and last mile related factors for the Inland Empire as a kind of balance on that. And then at the end, I'll provide an update on SCAG's last mile freight program. So for SCAG, last mile delivery is a growing area that the agency continues to focus on. This is especially important as SCAG is tasked with projecting future trends associated with population and employment, two areas that serve as drivers for consumption, as well as being part of the agency's focus on transportation facilities and infrastructure and the relationship to land use development. Growth during this kind of pandemic period has averaged over 3 times higher levels than the prior 290-month average, if we go all the way back to the mid-90s. So at the same time, over the past 15 months, inflation has continued to become an increasingly larger driver of this growth. As of May 2022, year-over-year change was 3 times higher than what was the case for March in 2021. Food, energy, obviously, are being, a key driver of these increases over the past 3 months. So when we look at e-commerce, it's obviously a key driver for last mile deliveries. It's witnessed increasing penetration. The key point from this overview is that as e-commerce continues to further penetrate retail sales, the number of including omni-channel, the number of supporting facilities across counties will increase in concert. This will continue to support growth for last mile delivery with a continued focus on innovation and technology, leading to increasing number of both industrial and retail store locations serving as points of last mile delivery origins to residents and businesses throughout communities. This is a critical issue to better understand for multiple areas, including technical analysis efforts, such as regionally looking at transportation modeling work and how we estimate and assume flows, as well as developing information to help inform policy decisions to be prepared for changes and impacts. The key need is for newer technologies to be capable of handling equipment, carrying the goods, and that the infrastructure supporting the vehicles is adequate and in place with the ability to scale.
Cool. Thanks, everybody. My name is Bruce D.D. McRae. I'm the U.S. Government Affairs Vice President for the Western U.S., and UPS is proud to be at the forefront of the companies in our industry working to address sustainability. Our presentation here is going to overview of how we approach sustainability, how we are executing our sustainability strategies, and how we're helping our customers to be more sustainable. We're the single largest user in the state of California when it comes to renewable natural gas. That means all the methane that would be burned off and go into our atmosphere, we're using that to basically supply all our vehicles, and we're using that in California. That's where we push the renewable natural gas in California. And speaking of drones, we're the first Federal Aviation Administration certified drone airline, UPS. That's what we do. We're working with hospitals and campuses right now. Well, using a drone cuts that by 3.5 hours. Well, what's 3.5 hours? It's a lot at saving lives. And that's just the start. This is something that most people don't know, is that we have one package car, we call them package cars, but one, you can say delivery vehicle, that delivers all your product. That means your ground product, your second day air, your 3-day select, and your next day air. I have one driver that does that. And I'm not going to point fingers at any of the other companies that deliver. We have one driver that makes that delivery, not 3 and 4 different drivers making different deliveries to your home. We take a lot of pride. Well, you have to do it that way. That makes you more sustainable when you only have one driver delivering in a neighborhood than 4 or 5 drivers delivering in a neighborhood. It's not just about air pollution. It's about noise pollution too. There's so many different aspects that are out there. Yet when you go zero, so integrated network enables intermodal shifting to maximize efficiency. Again, we use air to ground and ground to rail to avoid more than 15 million metric tons of CO2 since 2015. In other words, putting a vehicle on the road and to drive to, the middle of the United States, we put them on rail. We're the single largest user of the rail system in the United States, UPS. We have to have incentives from the state because a renewable natural gas vehicle is probably roughly about $110,000. An electric vehicle is upwards of $300,000 to $400,000 for one vehicle. If you don't have incentives to purchase those vehicles, you will go broke. And that's for the smaller groups and the larger groups. Companies like UPS isn't going to put on one or two. I want to put on hundreds in the state, hundreds. And if I have the incentives, I can do that. So please, when you're working with your government agencies, when you're doing that, please let them know, don't just mandate incentives for 50 vehicles and below. Keep it for everyone. So the companies that are doing the broad base can get those incentives to buy more vehicles and put them on. That's my share for you all. Write that down, please. We need the incentives to go forward.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Salim. I'm the CEO of WADIV, and happy to be here today and walk you through what we're doing and how we're really changing the way that transport is done and making zero emissions transport affordable and accessible to all. We build out the public infrastructure needed to make zero emissions trucks a reality. And then we, through our electric truck as a service platform, put electric Class 8 trucks on the road to make it more affordable and accessible to owner operators and various carriers that don't necessarily have the capital requirements to, one, build out the infrastructure at the facilities, or two, get access to electric trucks to operate them. This year, we are working on 5 sites. So we have our Bakersfield site, San Bernardino, Gardena, and Long Beach, and are evaluating sites going all the way up to Sacramento, which would allow us to create a fully zero emissions corridor that we can deliver freight from Port of Long Beach area to Northern California. We're also looking at going eastbound. A lot of that traffic goes into New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, all the way up to Chicago. And that's a very, very big route. A lot of those states don't have the incentives, but we need to be there. And that's where our truck as a service really plays in. So for instance, if a driver comes and picks up a truck in Long Beach and does a trip from Long Beach to Inland Empire, that's about a 75-mile trip. Yes, the truck has enough range to do that. But what happens if a truck is going from Bakersfield to San Bernardino and back? From Bakersfield to San Bernardino, that's 165 miles. And by the time a truck picks up a load from Bakersfield at one of the distribution centers, goes to Inland Empire, that truck is nearly out of charge. So rather than having a driver sit 2 to 3 hours for a truck to charge, they can pull into our depot, pick up a fully charged truck, and then do another load on the way back. We already have a pipeline of sites going all the way up to Northern California, as well as locations on the East Coast and other states that are looking to adopt similar incentives as California. And then obviously on the TCO side, the total cost of ownership, we're able to lower the total cost of ownership by maximizing the utilization of those assets. So the more miles driven on the trucks, the lower the total cost of ownership becomes. And in some cases, especially now with current diesel prices, we are actually better than diesel. And then through our truck as a service software, we're able to give an all-inclusive package to the driver that includes the vehicle, the maintenance, partial insurance, and the fuel being the charging of the vehicle, all at a fixed price through our truck as a service and our public charging.